Não crie conflitos em si mesmo. Isso aqui é apenas uma passagem.
Tudo sobre o milagre do deputado.
Mas seu tumor não está mais aí. E esse povo todo aí fora? Eu quero que você mande eles embora.
Eu sei que tem muita gente aqui precisando de ajuda.
Todo mundo falando disso, a cidade não fala de outra coisa.
Por que o senhor curou meu irmão e não me cura? Não sou eu que curo, filho. É o careca. Pede pra ele me curar, pai.
O senhor já sente a presença do Dr. Fritz?
Se você não pode dar ouvido a essas vozes, só vai piorar.
Não quero deixar a Lete e os meninos.
Por que a gente não pode ter uma vida normal? Zezé é um homem bom. O coração dele é bom.
Eu já disse, eu não sou médico, não. O médico é o Dr. Fritz. Longe de mim querer ganhar dinheiro em cima de quem tá doente.
Nem lembro a última vez que eu vi televisão assim com o senhor.
Não vi meus filhos crescerem porque eu tava trabalhando pra você.
Aceita. Essa é sua missão.
Foi você. Mas não parecia você, entende?
Eu não aceitei missão nenhuma!
Você tem que confiar em Deus.
Você casou com um homem e acabou com o outro. Mais da metade do tempo não sou eu que tô aqui, é o careca.
Tá cheio hoje, viu?
Vamos começar o nosso trabalho.
Good morning. Welcome everybody for another one of our live talks. My name is Glaucio Pessoa. I'm talking to you straight from Atlanta, Georgia. And today we have a very interesting topic, very interesting talk that we're going to discuss. We're going to have Angela Stewart, and she's going to bring us the topic, Our Differences Make Us Stronger. So let's talk a little bit about Angela. She's been dedicated to Spiritism for over 20 years. She is the co-founder of the Enlightenment Spiritist Society in New York and the founder of the Inner Light Spiritist Studies in Miami. She is a Spiritist collaborator at Conscious Living Spiritist Group and a host at Kardec Radio. And she's a lawyer, and she has postgraduate studies in international business and finance from New York University, and currently works in finance. Hi, Angie, how are you?
Hello, Glaucio, very good. Thank you so much for the invitation. Super excited to be here talking about Spiritism in English. That's awesome.
Oh, especially a very important topic about our differences and how our differences make us stronger, right? Sometimes we think that when we deal with different people, we're losing something, we're losing some ground, but actually I'm pretty sure that you're going to enlighten us on how important it is and how our differences contribute to make us live better and be more productive. So before we start, I'm going to say the initial prayer, and then you have the floor.
Thank you. Awesome.
Thank you, Lord, for the opportunity for us to be here and study about Spiritism, study about the importance of accepting others, starting with accepting ourselves with our shortcomings and seeing in others also the necessity to grow. Bless us at this moment. Bless our speaker today, and may our minds and hearts be open and very receptive for the messages that will be directed to us this morning. So be it.
So be it.
Angie, you have the word.
Very good. Thank you so much, Glaucio. Thank you, everybody. It's a pleasure to be here. Super excited. As we were speaking before, COVID, it's a very hard time to all of us. It's not easy to anyone. The whole planet was affected in a very tough way. But because of these issues, many other things had to be developed in order to bring our life to a kind of normality. We are not in normality at all, but there were certain things that helped us. And one of these things is this initiative here. It's wonderful that now we can continue lectures, studies, and all kinds of activities through so many applications, you know, YouTube, Facebook, Zoom, and whatever we have. So this is wonderful to be able to continue learning and spreading the good news and in a virtual way. And soon, with all the vaccines that are there, we will be able to see each other again, hug each other. Oh, I can't wait for it. So I will start sharing my slides with you. Let's see here. I believe you can. Let me see if I can make it bigger. I think it's good, very good. Awesome. So we are going to talk about our differences make us stronger. And it is true. The thing, what happened a lot is that we have a tendency of seeing our differences as a problem. You know, everything that's different is like, I don't like it, or I don't accept it. And this is pretty much the mind of little kids, because little kids are like this. And we know very well that when we were kids, the life was difficult. It was difficult because anything that's different, I was suffering some kind of bullying. So me, I used the glasses. And I was lovely called the 4-eye girl. Nobody knew my name. I was the 4-eye girl. And it was not good. It was painful. But you know, when we are children, we kind of accept it. We get used to it and we overcome, sometimes in a very tough way. But nowadays things are much better. So now most of the schools, most of the teachers and parents, when they see something like that, they say stop it. So nowadays it's called bullying, and we are able to control our kids and teaching them that the differences are important. Imagine a society that everybody is the same. So boring. And I will be talking about this right now. So let's go. It is okay to be different. After all, think about how boring the world would be if we were all the same. It would be very boring. And I will talk about why it would be boring. So it's important for us to accept our difference. It's not everybody that's the same, you know. We have different colors, we have different religions, different ways of thinking, different gifts, because we have gifts. Some people are more are able to do certain things that the other don't do, but that's the beautiful thing, because we can complement each other. So we have to learn how to embrace our differences instead of being fighting because of our differences. And then we come here. The important point for us, especially because we are spiritists, we believe in spirituality, we talk about religion and philosophy of life all the time. So it's important for us to understand the different beliefs and to learn how to coexist. Later on, I will talk about that. Accepting the difference, accepting that we are different does not mean that I will be doing that, but I will respect the person who is different than me. This is the most important thing, respect. And here, embrace cultural differences. We are in the United States and there is a huge diversity. I lived in New York for more than 15 years, and New York is unbelievable. You smell differences, you live differences, and it's beautiful. You are in a subway, you see people from everywhere. And I'm not talking about a different clothing style, I'm talking about different countries, and it's wonderful. So now the funny part, imagine if we were all the same. Imagine everything is the same. We all like the same color, clothes, music. We all have the same political views. And then you're thinking, oh, but that's good. The world would be peaceful. Yes, maybe the world would be peaceful, but we also know that when we are different from each other, we start like trying to understand why he or she is saying that, and then we try to use our brain to understand that, and that's when even inventions are created. So look at here. Imagine some kind of costume party, and all the girls are dressed with the same costume. It's really annoying when you go to a party and one other person is dressed in the same way. You feel like, I can't believe it, especially to girls, because, you know, guys, if you use a suit, black suit, it's all the same. But for girls, the clothing is a statement. And as you see here, we have two pretty women and the same outfit, but some outfits are better for one person and they are not that good for another person. So it depends in so many things, not just the physical body, but even the personality. Some clothes make a person to feel good and others is like, awkward. So this is why we can't be all the same. Depends on each person. And now we talk about talents, the gifts. Look how wonderful it is to be able to play an instrument, to bring music into our lives. And the drums would be my style. I don't know how to play, but I will work on it in my next life. And then we have the singers that benefit us with the beautiful voices, but also we have writers, we have mathematicians, we have scientists. And, you know, nowadays, in the time of COVID, scientists is so important in our lives. So in this point, start thinking. Imagine if everybody only knew how to play piano and nobody knew how to deal with science and with difficult issues in our lives. That wouldn't be good. And we come to our moment, the social media. We always had social media, at least for the past years, but because of COVID, social media is intense. We are all in social media because we can be in social life right now. But social media can bring a lot of wonderful things. Like, for example, right now, because it's so wonderful, we are having lectures in English every weekend. And from all over the world, we don't need to have, you know, we are not restricted to a person that lives nearby me, my city, or in my state. We can listen to Divaldo Franco every day, and it's a wonderful thing to be able to listen to his wonderful stories and his wonderful teachings. But social media, we need to be very careful because most of the people have the tendency of doing this. I know everything, I'm always right, anyone different is wrong. My opinion should be law. Don't make me angry. That's how people are behaving nowadays. And this is really, really bad to all of us. This is actually toxic. So we need to learn. So we are not going to be doing this because you're probably saying, I don't do it. But sometimes even with small things that we think don't have any problems, they could be in this style when we are not even aware of it. So this is what's going on. Freedom of speech, freedom for attacks. So the internet is creating these experts in everything, you know. Everybody is putting their opinion in everything that is being said. You know, unfortunately, so many people are creating fake profiles so they can just attack. And this is very sad. And we don't know everything. Yesterday, we were studying the book, What is Spiritism? That's from Kardec. And Kardec is in a chapter that is called The Critic. And in this book, in this chapter, he is addressing all the issues why people used to critique so much Spiritism in that beginning, in the 1800s. It is still nowadays, but Kardec is addressing, and Kardec is saying to one of the persons, the critique, is saying, you cannot write a book as an expert if you don't know something deeply. To do that, you need to know something deeply. And then he said, myself, I spent a whole year trying to understand it. And that's how I started opening up my mind. How you, with 2 visitations to a mediumistic meeting, can say that you understand or not the Spiritism. So this is just one point. So all the points, all the discussions are being like very heated in the internet. And most of the people are disagreeing, and horrible fights are happening. And then these horrible fights, they are meaning almost like war. Throughout this pandemic, I had many friends and family members who disagree publicly in social media, and they are not talking anymore. So this is affecting our personal life in a very strong way, and we should avoid this type of things. It's painful. So these are like the most of the common topics of disagreements. And if you look at them, if you read, they are all true in certain points. When we are not extremists, we start accepting things. For example, I am against guns, but I understand that people from America, they have this right for centuries and they don't want to give up. So we have to bring a balance. Let's establish laws that are stronger to control it. But when we say, no, it's wrong, this is already a big issue. So I come to a point of the destruction of relationships that I was just mentioning, because we used to be like this, having friends over in our home, going to a restaurant and having conversations. But the things nowadays can't be like that. So we have to understand the language of internet is very different too. Like when we are writing an email, for example, if it's related to work, we all know when you write something in cap lock, like it's written that destruction, this brings emphasis. So it's almost like you're screaming that word. And when you are dealing with friends and family or even unknown people over a public internet chat, this is dangerous because people see you as aggressive and then turmoil starts. So the disagreements will bring all these feelings, anger, stress, frustration, and this is what we don't need right now. And it's impossible to don't have any of this, but we can have some balance to it. And then you start thinking, how? And then I got help from our dear friend, Rossando Clinge. He's a very well-known spiritist psychologist from Brazil, and he gives us these tips. First, accept what we are entitled. We are all entitled to an opinion. As I mentioned before, we all have an opinion. Don't compare yourself to others. We are all different. Lose a battle to win a war. So how many times you had to accept something that you were not really happy about, but the majority said that was good? So we know, like in so many of the Spiritist federations, sometimes we are there and we are not in favor of something, but the majority said it's good. So, you know, yes, let's accept it because I might be wrong. And then we are going to learn later on. Things can change. So improve from your frustrations. Instead of being angry and start fighting, breaking things, let's learn how to improve. Let's learn how to deal with it. Meditation is something awesome for that. And I respect your opinion, but I disagree with it. This is very important. One thing is to respect. Another thing is I agree and I do the same. That's for us to reflect. So in the Spirit's book, the question 919, we have Self-Knowledge by St. Augustine. This is beautiful. So St. Augustine brought to us that in that time he was already practicing meditation, but a meditation actually in an active state of mind. So right before going to sleep, he used to reflect everything he did and how he could improve. So in the next day, if similar situation came, he had like an improved version of himself. And that's what we mentioned about active meditation. Let's develop empathy to others, to the difficulty of others. Then we come out now to the gospel, and we start knowing the difference in pride and humility. So in chapter 7, item 11, if Christ promised the kingdom of heaven to those who are poorest, it is because the mighty of earth imagine that titles and riches are rewards given for their merit, and that their essence is purer than of the poor. So this comes the concept of the blue blood that actually started in Spain, where the rich people, the noble people of Spain, they were whites, but the workers, they were of a dark skin. And then came this idea that their skin was so white and their blood was blue. But you know that when someone is cut, doesn't matter the color of the skin, the blood is red. And this is what's happening. I'm always right, the others are wrong, my opinion should be law. This is a kitty cat that thinks he is a lion. And this is what happened to a lot of people in social media. When they disagree with something, they start imposing their ideas. And let's not behave as this kitty cat. We are kitty cats, and let's be it. Let's improve, let's respect others and understand that it will be better. But we have to be careful to don't expose ourselves too much and not give an idea of something that we are really not. There is a balance in what you should talk about, what you should demonstrate, and what is going to be understood as you are a show off. So imagine a person that is always posting the fancy cars, the fancy clothes, the fancy anything. So imagine someone that does not have this. Imagine our moment of a COVID, of this pandemic, that millions of people lost their jobs and they are struggling day by day to be able to pay their rent or even to get food. And then, yes, everybody has a cell phone. So they look and then they see this. What are the feelings this person is going to have? One of those, maybe all of them. So shame, jealousy, sadness, envy, fear, rage. We don't want to do that. So I'm not saying we shouldn't post a picture of our new car, but be careful. Be careful. Find a balance. Maybe you should send this to your personal friends, not to be exposing yourselves in Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. Everyone should just reflect. This would be better for us. And when we make a mistake, do as this little child. I'm sorry. It's so beautiful to recognize when we make a mistake, even if the person that we are saying, I'm sorry, does not agree with us. And the person is going to say, no, I don't want to talk to you. It's okay. Everyone has a time. So let's be active towards it. Let's pray for this person. Let's pray for ourselves so we are not going to commit the same mistake and hurt someone else. Because this is the feelings that we should demonstrate, positive feelings. We should be always forgiving. We should always be grateful. We should always be happy, not hyper all the time because it's not good too. But that's how we should live our lives, trying to overcome our difficulties and helping the others who cannot overcome it yet. Then we come, blessed are the afflicted. So Jesus said, blessed are the hungry, persecuted, poor, sick, for the kingdom of heaven is yours. God is a loving mother and father of infinite goodness. Sometimes we don't think like that. Sometimes we're like, no, it's not. My life is difficult. I'm suffering. I'm unemployed. I have this, I have that. And this is so painful for ourselves. We have to be careful with cultivating negative feelings. So then we come happiness and sadness. The axiom says every effect has a cause. So the law of action and reaction. So what I'm talking about? I'm talking about the justice of afflictions. The causes are connected to a present life or to a past life. I know us spiritists, we love to say, oh, in my past life, I probably was a really bad person because I face all kinds of difficulties. But the spirits, they tell us that most of the time, our difficulties, our issues are from this life. We create our own difficulties and we start thinking they are from a past life. So we have to be careful with this. So why in this present life we do this? Because of imprudence, of pride, of ambition. We start fighting so much. We start thinking our opinion is the law. And that's what will happen. But from the past lives are the trials and expiations that actually will help us to improve. We will improve. We will learn from our past mistakes in this lifetime. And then we come with the forgetfulness of the past. So first of all, God cast a veil over the past, so it must be useful. A lot of people say, oh, I don't believe it, because if I did this, I should remember. Not necessarily. We are spiritists, we know. Imagine if your adorable daughter that you love so much, but you have a very, very hard time dealing with her. You imagine if in a past life you murdered her. Would you be able to cope with this? Would be very difficult. Imagine her if she discovered that. So God is wise and is always treating us as children. So it's better for us most of the times not to remember something, because we wouldn't be able to learn how to deal with it. So most of the times we are reborn in the same environment with the same individuals. If you read the books of the spirit Emmanuel, especially 2000 years ago, you will understand his lifetime and all the people involved, and they reincarnated together in different positions. The mother now is a wife, the son now is a brother. So everything changed, but they will be evolving together, learning how to forgive, how to love each other. So we will be repairing our errors with resignation, not with revolt. So we see here that the resignation brings pain, and pain is positive. Pain is something that will help us to learn what is wrong with me. If I'm burning my finger, the pain will be a wake-up call. But suffering, no. Suffering is something that is sad, is negative. So the suffering brings anger, brings hatred and rebelliousness. But pain brings faith, calmness, and resignation. So we need to learn how to be this monkey here. We have to be like Zen, like, At least we have to try. Not easy, but we have to try. And then we have that if a lesson is not learned, then it will be a waste of incarnation. Imagine a whole lifetime that was wasted. Emmanuel also tells us that there is a small portion of spirits that do not evolve. They stay stationary. They don't do any bad, but they don't do any good. And they stay kind of more or less. We know in Spiritism that we are always evolving, always evolving. But there are a small part of the spirits that are called like the lazy ones. They don't want to make much of an effort. Their involvement is minimal. So these spirits, they will have to come back in a tougher way in order to evolve. So Jesus is our consoler. So Jesus brought us this understanding of a future life that will be better. And we have to understand that the God is a loving mother and father. We have to trust in the justice, in his justice. So Spiritism is the new consoler, is this beautiful light that comes in our life, helping us to evolve. And we jump straight to the moral laws in chapter 7, the law of society, so important. The question 768, in society, individuals complete one another in order to ensure their own welfare and progress. Of course, there are individuals that are rebellious against their family, their friends, society in general. Then they go, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to live alone. I'm going to reflect on my problems, my issues. I will be able to reach the nirvana, to reach to my own enlightenment, away from the society. Well, for sure, this individual will have a lot of time to meditate, but only when come back here to life in society with all of us, that's when he will be able to prove, because he will be facing difficulties that he will need to prove that he was able to develop forgiveness, compassion, fraternity. Imagine, he returned from the mountain, he married this lady, she was his princess, the years pass, and she's not exactly what he thought, but he is not what she thought either. So they have to learn how to love each other, how to respect each other, how to have a better life. And in COVID time, we have seen this a lot, because most of the people used to have to live together, but almost like they had different daily lives. You know, she spent the whole day in the office, he spent the whole day in the office. They only saw each other for a few hours at night, and then for months and months they have to be living together and dealing with each other. So a lot of problems came from that, but a lot of love came from that too, and made lots of families to grow in this love. And if he doesn't understand, like us, many times we cannot overcome certain situations, there will be another life. So this couple, in the next life, they might come back as siblings, and then they will have to work again and again and again. And now in the same book, we go to the moral laws, and then we go all these beautiful scientists that are so bright, so intelligent, they develop their intelligence so quickly. But we know the spirits, they only are really evolved when they develop intelligence and morality. So we have to have these two in a higher way, because if one is super intelligent but there is no morality, it's not good. And here we have the beautiful example of Madre Teresa. So the law of progress in question 780 says the moral progress is a consequence of intellectual progress, but it does not always follow it immediately. So it means that the people usually develop their intellectuality before the morality. So they develop the intelligence, and later on they will develop morality. So not necessarily in the same lifetime. So we have here the intellectual progress, the differences between good and evil, the free will, that's extremely important, because God is not up there somewhere telling us do this, do that. No, we will be exposed to situations, and we will have to use our free will, our own power of decision to do things. So we can improve faster or slower, it depends on our free will, and then we will develop our morality. Then we go to the book of Genesis, the good and evil. So we have the caveman in the beginning, when we were the ones learning. We're learning everything. Intellectuality, morality. Imagine the planet Earth millions, billions of years ago. That was like this, but we evolved. We are not, we always start simple and ignorant. All the spirits start like that. And then we develop through our free will, and then we continue our progress. The planet Earth right now is in the regeneration phase. So we have here the evil spirit. But the evil spirits are not like devils, demons, like people say. No, these are our brothers and sisters who are imperfect. They're still trying to improve. They're still trying to be better. So right now, they are still in this phase, but they will evolve. So what they are lacking is goodness and forgiveness, and they excess in vices. But, you know, we are all in certain ways. We still have this. We are no angels. We all have issues. I put an example here that's very connected to New York City. So in New York, most of people live in these buildings, and the walls are very thin. So people are talking in one apartment, and you are listening in your living room. Yes, it is a reality in lots of buildings, especially in Manhattan. And then imagine you have a neighbor that got a guitar and is learning how to play rock and roll, but on, imagine, Tuesday night. So you need to sleep because you have to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning, let's imagine. And this person is 11 o'clock is playing rock and roll in a loud noise. Wouldn't you feel angry, stressed? So love one's neighbor as oneself. This is said in the gospel. Do unto others what you desire for oneself. Be charitable, indulgent, and benevolent. This is charity by Jesus. So would you like to do this to somebody else? So always think of the other. So would you like to do that? No, you wouldn't. So try not to do to somebody else what you wouldn't like. That's how we have to think. But unfortunately, many times we think, oh, it's okay. It's okay. You know, I am in my right. But, you know, let's start using this to really think of others. And here, I love these pictures. You know, these are like the beautiful cartoons that I grew up with. Some my son grew up with. And we have always the evil character. And here are the little angel character hugging the evil character, giving their love. So the enemies and the resilience. Love your enemies. Forgive them. So when Jesus said, love your enemies, he's not inviting them to live with us. No, it's forgiving them. It's trying to understand them. It's accepting that they might not be changed. It's accepting that whatever anger, whatever issue they have might not be resolved in this life. They might need another lifetime. That's what Jesus wanted us to do. Reconcile with them, if possible. Reconcile with them. You know, when we reconcile with our animal, we are destroying all the pain, all the anger. And yes, sometimes we will try so hard to reconcile, but they will not accept. It's okay. Ask for forgiveness anyway. Pray for them. Try to be better. Because even if they do not reconcile right now, the seed was planted. And one day they might change. So the animals are the enemies are our personal trainers of the soul. Who said that was Dr. Alberto Almeida. He's a psychotherapist, a spiritist psychotherapist from Brazil. He's great. So he tells us, develop resilience to deal with frustration. So pray for serenity, even if your own serenity. Pray for the other too. Accept what I cannot change. Courage to improve, wisdom to differentiate what is good and what is not good, and humility to recognize the errors, my errors. Try always to point the finger for yourself. What can I improve? And then we come to the end, where is equality and equity. What is different here? So a better me will bring a better world. When we improve, the society will be improving. Remember, give the example. So this is equality for all. It's good. You see all these women different with different religions, different states of life. But this is what we need. we have here reality. So reality is like this. So reality is a lot of portion of our society is deep down. They have no access to see what's going on. Then we have some portion of society that finally can reach and can see something. But we have also a very small portion of society that is super high, living the life in the best way, but not even caring for the ones who are going through pain. And then equity is this. Equity is when we are able to bring everyone to see. This is equity. Equality sometimes is not the best thing, because you see, everybody gets the same box to watch the game. But if someone is really small, they're not going to be able to see it. So equity is when, imagine you are very tall. This is a hypothetical idea, but bring it to a problem in society. You are very tall. You have a lot. So for you to take some of whatever, money, food, whatever you have in excess, and give to the one that has absolutely nothing, that's the beautiful thing. This is what we want. This is the society that one day will happen. It's not happening right now, but we are working. We are working to the betterment. We are working towards this. And this is a video that I'm not going to show because I don't know if it can bring any type of a problem because of rights to the channel. But the story is these people, they are sitting around a very deep hole, and there is food in the middle of it. They get these big long spoons, and they are trying to put the spoon, the soup, and to eat. But they can't do it because the spoon is huge. Lots of things happen. It's just 1 minute video. If you can watch, One Human Family, Food for All. It's beautiful. So they start fighting. They start using their spoon to break each other because they are angry. They don't know how to deal with the situation. Then one person breaks the spoon and start crying because now it's impossible to eat. Then one person from the other side put the spoon and learned that she could feed him. And then they all learn how to feed each other, how to love each other, and how to feel good with each other. So this is what we want. We want to have a society that in the future we will all love each other, respecting our differences, improving with the beautiful differences, because it's wonderful to be different. And one day it will be a blessing to be different, accepting, embracing all of us as one family member. So that's it, my friends. Thank you so much.
Angie, this is amazing. Yeah, I love the little cartoon. When you show the yeah, it reminds me of my kids. I used to watch those with my kids. So yeah, maybe my kids are adults now, so I can talk to them about this topic. So I'll definitely show that cartoon to them and talk about it. We have some questions that we'd like you to address.
Sure. If I know, I will be happy to do it.
Oh, sometimes we realize that people are doing bad things and thus creating problems for themselves. How can we assist them without infringing their free will?
Well, this is very delicate. Depends a lot who is the person and what type of relationship you have and how you are going to address it. So first of all, as we should always do is to pray. The first thing ever, whenever we are facing a situation, we should pray for ourselves, for the person, and for our relationship. So we can actually bring the sense of calmness to our minds to be able to address something like that. Another thing is that we should never address something when we are angry, when we are like hyper, I'm going to do it right now, because this is not good. Let's do like André Luiz in the book Nosso Lar, Astral City, where André Luiz arrives in the spiritual realm. He's full of questions. He's like talking without stopping. And then his spiritual mentor gives him some water and tells him, this is medication. Take it, put in your mouth, do not swallow. André Luiz did it. He put the water there. He's like, and he stayed with the water for a long time. And then finally he drank it. And then past some time, another patient came in the same way that André Luiz was, full of questions, talking without stop, blah, blah, blah. André Luiz gave the technique of the water. That's how we should be, how to address something. So let's calm down. Let's put this water in our mouths, calm down our thoughts, and then we can address. And how to address? Address in private. Do not use social media to address whatever you think is not good. Call the person, send a message. You cannot be with someone right now, but you have the phone. And then try to bring some light in a very delicate way. Don't start acting like you know everything. That would be helpful.
That's very interesting. I like what you mentioned about avoiding social media, because whatever you write in social media stays there forever.
Yes.
So, all right, next one here. What to do when those who are trying to help us act as if we are hurting them?
What to do when those who are trying to help act as they are hurting them? I said, we are hurting them.
Yeah, we're like trying to help somebody and they behave like, why are you doing this to me? You're trying to hurt me.
Yeah, well, we have to understand that everyone, sometimes when we try to help a friend or someone, we are giving them our understanding, our point of view. And sometimes we are right, sometimes we're not. But sometimes we are right. We are trying to do it in a loving way. But this is a mechanism of defense. Animals, not human beings, but animals. When they are in a situation that is dangerous, they have two reactions. Or they attack, or they retract. They run away. They try to escape. And many times, this is what the mechanism this person is developing. You are trying to help. You are trying to show points of view. You are trying anything. And this person becomes against you. They start fighting you and attacking you. Respect. And, pray. That's the best thing. And try not to answer, especially in social media. Try to address in a private way, as I said, because when the person is in this attacking mode, things will be worse. So respect, that's their moment. Try to do it in a loving way. Plant the seed. And with the time, this person will have an understanding, and maybe it will be able to change. Let me tell you a private story. I'm going to synthesize super short. I had a discussion with a good friend many years ago, and she did not understand me. It was very upsetting. I ended up moving from where I lived, and we lost contact. But I always had her as a person that I really liked, and it hurt me that we end up in this way. And for some time I could always thinking of her. And when I finally sent her a message, and I told her the whole thing that happened and how I act and how she reacted, and I asked for forgiveness. I said, I shouldn't have done that. You were in your right of behaving like that. You don't need to answer me. I just want to tell you that I want to apologize. And to my surprise, she called me and we were talking. We both stopped crying so much, and we are friends again. I was like, so sometimes it takes a long time.
Just plant the seed, right? And wait, because just like us, our brothers and sisters, they also need to learn to mature. Exactly. Right, to get to that level, get some new experiences as well. Oh, let's see. We have more questions. Oh, that came from me. I can ask questions as well, right? How to deal with situations in which we are sure that we are right, but nobody else is listening to us?
Oh my God. This is the most difficult one, because when we are the ones telling others how to behave, we always think, oh, we are right. But when we are the ones that we think we are so super right and everybody is wrong, this is difficult. It's difficult because it's difficult for us to point fingers for ourselves. It's very easy to point to the others. We have to behave in the same way. If we are trying something and nobody's listening, something is there. Maybe we are still right, but at that moment, that cannot be done. So we have to accept. We have to accept. We have to pray for guidance, because maybe in a different time, in a few months or years, situations will shift. And if we are really right, that's exactly like Kardec said, if Spiritism is wrong, if it is a lie, it will disappear. But if Spiritism is right, it will flourish. So that's the same thing with us. If we are wrong, it will be demonstrated. But if we were right, somehow the things will come and say, my God, Glaucio said this 2 years ago, and only now we recognize.
Sometimes in a previous life, right? You know, we're all evolving and growing.
Yes, yes.
I'm pretty sure we have more questions. All right. How to deal with our differences if by expressing them, they become a threat to our personal security? That is interesting.
Huh. Well, yes, I understand, especially in social media now, that if you want to talk something good of Republicans or something good of Democrats, it's a huge turmoil. You know a lot of people like to express themselves because they say, if I don't do it, I'm doing a damage to myself. But this is very personal. This is very personal. And we cannot say this is right, this is wrong. I think everyone should see what would be better. I try to take the peaceful way, because our society is in such a turmoil right now. Any little thing you do, it's easy for them to attack. So in my personal way, I try not to expose too many things on social media when I know people will be having really tough reactions. But if it's with your friends in a private group, then I try to expose my point of view, but I already start. I know that a lot of people here thinks very different of me. I respect your point, but I think this. But I wouldn't do this in public social media because of all the fake profiles that people use just to really be haters. That's what they call the haters. So,
right. Yeah. I had a similar situation. I had an example. Actually, of all people, my manager, he made a political comment. We were having lunch. He made a political comment, which was completely different with what I believed, right? So I kind of had to express my idea, but without saying, this makes no sense, right? I said, no, hey, this is how I think, very carefully. So it's interesting, those kinds of situations.
Especially in a work environment.
That is so true. Any additional questions? There you go. How should we act if those... Okay. How should we act if those expressing their views refuse to listen to different points of view?
That's another thing that's very difficult too, very challenging. And, all these questions, they bring us to the same point. We are living in a very difficult time, very hard time, this turmoil, these haters everywhere. And even, let's bring it to very close to the Spiritist movement. We all have the same goal. We all want to spread the good news. We all wanted to help people that do not understand what it is, or people that have this barrier against anything new. And they're like, Spiritist? You talk to a spirit? No, this is something from the devil. They are already putting a wall there. And it's hard. But it brings to the same thing. We have to calm ourselves. We have to pray for this calmness. And let's think of our Master Jesus. How Jesus would do this. Of course, we are so super far away from Jesus, but we can try to imitate a little bit. And, we as I just said, let's try to show our points in a peaceful way, in a calm way. Let's try to talk to people that have similarities. Let's see if we could get a group of people to address this person, especially when this person is a higher rank in whatever situation. And let's try. The only thing we can do is try. Fighting is the worst thing. Fighting is not good. But if you get a group that thinks like you and we all together can address, then it would be like stronger, would be easier to reach to an agreement.
It's funny, always try to look for those points of agreement and not disagreement, right? Trying to thrive on the love, respect, and like you mentioned, all the haters, there's so much hate, there are so many haters out there.
Yes.
Why feed the haters, right? Why give them more power?
Exactly. And before the haters, they had their names there. Now you don't even know who it is because they create fake profiles just to do that. It's like, oh.
It's interesting that you mentioned that the whole situation with Spiritist groups. And sometimes, people, because of little disagreements, and I hate to be so blunt about it, in the Spiritist movement, because of little disagreements that happened 20 years, 10 years ago, 20 years ago, sometimes 30 years ago, right? Groups don't interact, and it's kind of sad that.
Yes. And it's so sad because we are here with the same goal. We are trying to bring the good news to the most people possible. And if ourselves, we start with these fights, it's so sad. It's like, right. Oh my God, how can we tell others to forgive if we can't? This should be the first thing. Like, if I want someone to forgive me, I have to forgive someone else. And I know there are some points that the people think, no, this is the law. If you don't follow it, you are out. That's how it happens. But maybe we can bring it to a certain agreement, saying, listen, we follow this. This is how the guidelines. That would be better for the group. But it's always a two people, a two group understanding. If one side is totally here and the other side is totally there, and you don't reach to a middle ground, then just in another lifetime.
I know, right? It's going to take all of us many lifetimes to get there. There are so many nice comments. I'm pretty sure you're following the different nice comments from different people, right?
Thank you, guys. I'm so happy that was positive and helpful.
Very positive and very helpful. Any additional questions?
Hey, Tanya, I just saw your message here. I'm just looking through the messages.
Nice. Hey, Angie, do you have any final thoughts that you'd like to share with us?
Well, my final thought is that we are going through a tough time. We all know that. In the beginning, we thought this issue of the COVID was going to be local, just like in China. Then it started spreading. Then it was in Europe. Then boom, Brazil and then is in the whole planet. But God knows what is better for us. And I think this time is a time for us to reflect. It's a time for us to really rethink our values, our family, how we can respect each other, and how we can continue progressing. So internet is an example that they have so many positive things, but there are so many negative things. So let's be in balance with everything. Let's use our time to do good things. If we use social media, let's spread what is good. Let's stop spreading fake news or things that we are not totally sure. Let's spread what is good, what we know it's happening. Let's try to avoid these conversations that might bring some kind of turmoil. Let's be the peace in the middle of the hurricane. I'm in Miami. I know what I'm talking about.
This is very appropriate.
it's always good to be positive. You go to talk to friends and everybody, oh, my life is COVID. Oh. And like, guys, let's put some samba and dance. I lost my voice.
So someone that even during hurricane season, right?
Exactly. Let's pray even stronger. God, we are here.
Angie, thank you so much. I'd like to continue to extend again the invitation to everybody who's listening to us that, you know, every Saturday morning here, you know, Saturday morning local time in the US, we have these talks, you know, very great talks like the one you just had with Angie. Next week, we're going to have Sonia Doi as well, is going to be with us. So stay tuned. Okay. Angie, so that we can close this great lecture, would you please say the final prayer for us?
Sure. Yes. So, my friends, let's try to close our eyes for a few minutes just to connect with the Almighty. Calming down our thoughts. Let's, at this moment, feel this positive energy that surrounds all of us, wherever we are. And let's give thanks to God. Thank you so much for helping us during this moment of our reincarnation, that our whole planet is changing. Help us to be the bright light in the middle of the darkness. Help us to connect with our guardian angels, so we will always be able to have a positive word, a word that will help, not a word that will make someone angry or someone upset, but a word of help, love, calmness. Please stay with us, protect us, guide us, help us to improve ourselves, help us to demonstrate to others that we are a little bit better today than what we were yesterday. And if we made any type of mistake, any type of error, show us and help us to learn how to say, I'm sorry, forgive me, help me to be better. And dear God, bring us together again and again and again to continue our enlightenment, to continue progressing towards your light, towards the beautiful examples of Master Jesus that we all know, but many times we cannot follow. Inspire us to start being more active towards goodness. And help us to come back here again next Saturday to continue our spiritual improvement. Thank you so much. So be it.
So be it. Thank you, Angie. Everybody have a great and blessed week.